Hello and welcome to Jackson's Job. We are going to show you an easy dough recipe with endless possibilities. In the coming weeks we will be making all kinds of fun bread like braided cinnamon rolls and star bread, but today we are starting out simple with some delicious dinner rolls. What we like about this recipe is it uses a modest amount of ingredients, especially that flour. You can really work on improving your bread making skills without a lot of money invested. In a large bowl we are going to add a bit of sugar. You need 2 tablespoons or 25 grams. You can use any kind of sugar you like and also cut it in half if you are watching your sugar intake. Just don't leave it all out. The sugar is for browning, a hint of sweetness, and also to delay gluten formation so you have a nice soft bread. You will need 1½ teaspoons of instant dry yeast, that's 4.5 grams. For flavoring and structure, we will also add a bit of salt, a ½ teaspoon or 2.5 grams. If you really like salt in your bread, you can double it, but just keep in mind it will slow the rising down a bit. You need some milk to this recipe, 3/4 cup or 180 milliliters. From fat-free to full-fat, lactose-free, or milk substitutes, they all work really well with this easy dough recipe. To speed up the rising process, we warm the milk to 110 degrees Fahrenheit or 43 degrees Celsius. We want to add some fat for flavor. We're using 2 tablespoons of oil, 30 milliliters, and you can use whatever type of cooking oil you like. We like canola as it's cheap and flavorless, but some people have very strong opinions about oil in general, so use which one suits your needs. Then we add 2 tablespoons or 28 grams of softened butter. You can use salted or unsalted, margarine, even vegetable oil spreads works great here. Also, lard or vegetable shortening does well too. And if you notice, there's no egg in this enriched dough. We did this on purpose as eggs are becoming quite expensive these days. Finally, we add in some flour. We are using all-purpose or plain flour instead of the bread flour as we really want a soft and tender crumb for the plans we have for this dough. You need just 2 cups or 300 grams. When it comes to baking bread, we really encourage you using a scale, but we have tested this with US measuring cups to make sure it works well for the beginner. We want to mix this all together with either your hands or a handle of a spoon until it makes a shaggy dough. If you want to use a stand mixer, that's completely fine. You just need to use the appropriate speed for your mixer and mix it until it stretches easily without tearing. It's going to be about 8 to 12 minutes. Otherwise, we are going to turn this dough onto a clean work surface and begin to knead it by hand. One easy way to knead is to grab the end furthest away and fold the dough toward you. Then using the palm of your hand, press down and away from you. Pick up the end, fold it toward you, and press away. You can use one or both hands. The butter will seep out and cling to your counter initially. This is to be expected. Just work with the dough and you will pick up that butter off the counter as you're kneading. You want to knead this dough until it's soft. It doesn't really stick to your hands anymore, and it's very stretchy like this. This can take 8 to 10 minutes or even longer if you are new to bread making. You will not overwork this dough by hand. We have kneaded this for a solid 30 minutes just to see what would happen. We had tired arms and hands, but that bread was soft and tender. So work as long as you have to in order to get a soft and stretchy dough. Cover it and let it sit until it at least doubles in size. This can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours, depending on your temperature. It typically takes us about 70 to 90 minutes in our house. Our temperature is 70 degrees Fahrenheit, that's about 21 degrees Celsius. Once it has risen in size, you need an 8-inch square pan that's 20 centimeters. It can be round or square. Grease or butter it generously. We really like cooking spray, but some people don't like that either. Use what works for you. Your dough should be really soft and deflate easily. Now if you have a scale, weigh it first, divide it by 9. You'll have somewhere between 60 to 62 grams of dough depending on how well you measured your ingredients. We are going to create some tension so we get a nice round shape. Flatten your roll into a disc shape, working around the circumference. Grab the edges and pull it toward the center. Flip it over, and then using the palm of your hand, roll the dough gently until you get a nice tight ball shape like this. Put your dough into your prepared pan and then work on the next one. Once you have them all in your tray, you are going to cover this with either a towel or some plastic wrap. And then you're going to let it sit until it doubles in size. In our house, it takes about 45 minutes. And what we do is once that 45 minutes hits, we go ahead and turn on our oven and preheat it to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 180 degrees Celsius. You want to bake these 18 to 22 minutes or until golden brown. Ideally, the internal temperature will reach 190 degrees Fahrenheit or 88 degrees Celsius. You want to let them cool slightly in the pan, and then you want to remove them. One way you can quickly remove rolls from a pan is to use a second cooling rack Flip them upside down, remove the pan, and then flip them right side up. They should be nice and golden brown on the bottom as well. These are a really lovely, soft, tender dinner roll. Let's open one of these up and see what they look like. This is a really good, soft, tender bread that will make all kinds of things that you can think of. From garlic bread to cinnamon rolls, this dough recipe is an all-star. I really encourage you to give this a try and see what you can come up with. Get to practicing with this easy dough recipe because we're going to be making a lot of fun bread with this in the future. I hope you enjoyed this recipe. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy baking.